Good afternoon, everybody. It is meteorologist Aiden's Weather Forecast here, and welcome back to another tropical update, guys. As you can tell, we are going to be focusing on Hurricane Dorian now. That is now a Category 4. It has weakened now to 150 miles per hour, so it's weakened 35 miles per hour this morning as it is stalling over the Bahamas at 1 miles per hour, which is a huge threat for flooding and also an increase of damage. I did do a live stream earlier today, so if you guys didn't see it, I did one earlier today, so that's why I didn't do a video at noon. If you guys are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, guys. It really means a lot. And also, if you have any friends that you think are in the path of this system, go ahead and share the link of this video so they are prepared to see what's coming. We've had a lot of new updates today. We have a lot of new mandatory evacuations for Georgia, South Carolina, Florida. Without further ado, let's get in the video. So we are going to be looking at now the 5-day graphical tropical weather outlook, and as you can tell, we have a lot of new systems here in the Atlantic, but we're just going to be focusing on Dorian right now because that's the main topic here in the Atlantic. So it's at 130 knots for maximum sustained winds, which is 150 miles per hour. Earlier today it was 185, but now it's going over the Grand Bahama Islands at 150 miles per hour, and it's very slowly moving away from the Bahamas and heading towards west-northwest at 1 knot or 1 miles per hour. So it's going to be heading towards the Florida area very slowly. And the minimal central pressure is now at 938 millibars, so it is really going really high. It went from 910 to 938, so we're really seeing the system starting to weaken a little bit. It's actually weakening pretty fast now, and we are seeing the central pressure really going up really high too. Now we're going to be looking at the satellite imagery right here. And it's actually really impressive right now because look how close the system is. It's incredibly close to Florida. It's super close. If we looked at the satellite imagery without even knowing where it was going to go, we would all assume it would hit right on Florida, of course. But right now, again, it is not going to possibly make a direct landfall on Florida. Well, that's what we are seeing. Again, here we have this huge Category 4 Hurricane Dorian. We have incredibly big outer bands that are affecting all the way to Nassau, Bahamas, something like that, pronounced like that. And then here we have the eye. It's actually been wobbly for the past couple of hours, and that's actually a big deal because as you can tell, it's not super. It's kind of like wobbly, kind of like this. That's kind of what it is right now. And usually in regular hurricanes, it's not that big of a deal, but with this being so close to Florida and it's such a close call at this point, a little wobble in the eye can really do a big deal because if it wobbles and it goes this way, it can go straight towards Florida. If it wobbles that way, and then it can go around that way. It's just the wobble is really important since there's not a huge since this whole time Dorian has been so unpredictable with the cone. We have the outer bands, of course, starting to affect parts of Florida areas, bringing some possibly 30 miles per hour knots or more for some areas there, possibly the West Palm Bay area. We've had some cloud cover now going over Miami, and we are going to have the worst of it getting near Freeport there. We are getting the eye wall right now. The eye is now back in the Atlantic Ocean, so the eye is now back in the Atlantic Ocean, so it's not over land right now, but we still have these outer bands, and look how far these bands reach from this end all the way over here. It's so big and just so incredibly big, and it's going to be getting even bigger as it goes by Wednesday, or since it's going to be very slow moving, it's going to take a couple of days to go like that, but by Wednesday it should be a little bit faster moving, and it's going to get very big by Wednesday. So that's the satellite imagery. Now we're going to be looking at the cone and the timing here. So this is all new, updated right now. And as you can tell, here we have this tropical storm force winds right here in the orange. So we have tropical storm force winds right now, and as you can tell, it goes from 120 miles from the eye. We can have tropical storm force winds 120 miles away from the eye. So if you're wondering, or if you're saying you're not close to it, you can still get tropical storm force winds, and that's the issue. We're getting tropical storm force winds very close to Florida. It's not quite at Florida yet, but it's very close. We still have these hurricane warnings in effect for the Bahamas and Freeport, and then we actually still have these hurricane warnings in effect now for Florida, for parts of the Nassau, Florida area, and the and the island satellite, the satellite island. And then we also do have hurricane watches now in effect for southern Georgia and for northern Florida. So we have Jacksonville, and then we have some areas in southern Georgia, not quite Savannah. I wouldn't be surprised if we have some more move towards Savannah. We also have these hurricane watches stretch all the way down to West Palm Bay, all the way again to Jacksonville and parts of southern Georgia. And then the yellow, we do have tropical storm watches in effect for parts of those areas of Fort Lauderdale, and then for South Central Florida. And we do have again tropical storm warnings in effect for the West Palm Bay area too. So again, we have a lot of warnings and watches in a very small area. Again, it's very, very slow moving. So by all the way to Thursday, it's just going to be getting near Charleston. Look how very slow it is. It's already taking that turn already. So it's not moving straight to the west anymore. It's now taking that west-northwest turn. It's possibly again going to affect many areas from Savannah all the way to possibly Wilmington, North Carolina, or Jacksonville, North Carolina, and even Greenville, North Carolina. You guys can actually have a huge threat for possibly having some hurricane force winds, and we can actually have possibly a landfall in North Carolina. It's a very, very close call right now. Just gotta wait. So here's where this eye could be based on this right now. And we can even have some possibly tropical storm force winds for the New England area all the way to Rhode Island to Massachusetts. You guys can have some possibly rain and winds, but it's very, very far out from those areas in New England, so just gotta wait a little bit. Now we'll be looking at the track right now. And again, here it is, taking that northern turn. The models, again, did show getting very, very close to Florida, but again, it's not going to make landfall in Florida. So again, you were still going to have a lot of rain, a lot of wind, so don't worry if you thought you prepared, but you're not. It's worthless right now. It's still really, really dangerous for Florida. And again, this is where we have to watch out right here if it can hit possibly Jacksonville, North Carolina right here. We can have a very, very, very close call. Look how it's a lot closer in North Carolina than Florida. If we thought this was a close call, look at this, how close it is. And we actually have a couple models, maybe one or three models actually showing landfall on North Carolina, and we have one that just goes straight through Greenville. And then again, we could have it possibly going to Nova Scotia. And again, this is basically what the cone is looking like right now. This is what I think. This is based on my idea. I think we can have the cone right here. Well, this is not the exact cone. I mean, this is the cone for the eye. My cone will obviously be a lot bigger. It will be like this. But I mean, like for the eyes, for all the eyes, this is where we can have these possibly the eye of the storm go. That's what I meant by cone. Now we're going to be looking at the intensity guidance here. And this is, for some reason, the intensity guidance is not updated, even though when everything else is. But again, it is at 130 knots right now, so it is a category 4. At this point, it's just going to be weakening right now. It shouldn't be getting any stronger, so no worry about it strengthening, but it's just going to be weakening. It's going to be weakening pretty fast because, again, it's slow moving. It's going to be going across, I know it's going to be in the Atlantic, but it's still going to be, parts of it going to be over the Bahamas still. So that's why we should have a weakening. So that's basically all you really need to know right here. And now we're going to be looking at the winds now. Again, here we have it getting extremely close to Florida. Here we have it's a big boy system right here. Again, we have Freeport getting in up to 111 knots by today and tomorrow. It shouldn't be moving. The eye walls will not move out of the Bahamas until Wednesday. So that's how crazy it is going to be. They're going to have basically 2 days of hurricane force winds. It's going to be very, very crazy. And then not only it's going to bring in possibly up to 80 knots near Jacksonville, just a couple miles south of Jacksonville. We can have possibly category 1 force winds, and this is the issue where we could actually have, but it's a very, very close call. I know I'm not going to say it will, I'm saying it might actually make a landfall near the Jacksonville, North Carolina area, or near the islands right here. That's what we just have to watch out for, this little area. There's I'm going to say 60% chance no landfall, 40% chance landfall in North Carolina. That's still a very good amount of, it's a good percentage. So again, we just have to really have to worry about North Carolina and South Carolina at this point. Now we're looking at the radar again. We're going to be seeing the central pressure going up really high, really fast. We're going to have up to 950 millibars. as we continue on, it's going to get a lot bigger in size. Like I said, look how much bigger it gets in size. You would think it'd be weakening. It's going to bring incredibly amount of rain for Charleston, Myrtle Beach. It's going to bring rain from Wilmington days before days before hitting it. And look at this, Raleigh, Wilmington. You guys will all get extremely heavy amount of rain. And we're just going to have to watch out for North Carolina because it looks like we could have landfall as possibly a Category 2 hurricane. And it's going to bring in a lot of rain for all the way to not British Columbia, Nova Scotia and Maine and the New England area. We could have plenty of rain issues. Now let's take a look at the precipitation, get the total accumulated precip. And again, the precipitation will be the worst right now all the way into the southeast. The southeast coast, but again, we're going to be seeing possibly all the way up to 8 inches from Massachusetts. But again, the worst amount of rain will be right here based on this. South Carolina and North Carolina, you guys can have the worst amount of rain. Again, Florida, you guys probably see maybe only 5 to 6 inches, but the storm surge will be worse in Florida with 4 to 7 feet. And again, North Carolina and South Carolina, you guys can possibly see in this little kind of yellowish color. You guys can see from 14 inches to 20 inches, incredibly amount of rain. All the way to Virginia Beach, we can see about half a foot of rain there. It's going to be crazy. Raleigh, you can get all the way to possibly 6 inches. So it's going to be very widespread flooding issues. If we had flooding issues with Irma, if Irma brought a lot of flooding issues to Charleston when it was not really that close, then obviously we're going to have huge flooding issues with this system. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and stay tuned for my next video later today in the evening. Bye, guys.